That is primary. The hierarchy that sits at the top of everything. You have to make contact with the ball. You'll do anything you can, no matter how stupid it looks, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how much it goes against the drill you've been given or the coach that's given you advice. Subconsciously, you will do some jacked up stuff to make contact with the golf ball.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast. Robbie and Jonathan here. Big smiles after this interview.
Yeah, it was everything I hoped it would be in terms of why, how, and what they did. And I feel vindicated for my Dolly Parton. For those of you who aren't paying attention, we just went with Avoda Golf, and they have single length shafts, but not just single length shafts just for doing it. It really is a goal of making everyone at whatever level of golf they're at better at golf. And
only if you want to get better.
Only if you want to get better, and just like a legitimate. He was Tom was a golf pro himself and was trying to figure out why things were going sideways, sometimes literally, as we all know, whenever we strike a ball. And so I can't wait. I can't wait for you guys to hear this. I can't wait to see what type of partnership we end up with. I'm ready to go hit golf balls. Get my Dolly Parton out and swing.
If nothing else, getting some golf clubs, right? You want to order some golf clubs now.
Oh my gosh. I got to convince Keisha that I just got golf clubs last year, but I really need a new one.
Yeah. Well, no, Tom Bailey, Avoda Golf. Man, what a great interview. So
yeah,
to set it up a little more, we talk about it. You have been talking about your single link thing, and maybe that's why the Google Analytics bring up Avoda Golf.
It was because of them. It was the other way around. I saw them on social media.
When you had sent that to me, you're like, hey, look at these guys. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. I hadn't done a ton of research, homework into it, but after hearing him, I did meet them at Sand Valley, both Tom Bailey and Tommy Lewis, great guys. And got to meet them at Sand Valley and said, hey, Jonathan loves what you guys do. We'll get you on the podcast. And I'm sold. Like, I am all in. Like, I want to go get fit. We've talked to fitters and everything else, like people that will fit you for this brand or this brand or this brand. Like, maybe it's the motto. Like, I want to get better at golf. Like, and we've done course corrections where we're looking at data. We're trying to increase our swing speed with the stack system, which all of that's working. We are getting better,
right?
But we've never done the custom fit. So you can only get as good as you can, maybe. Yeah. But having the right tools in your hand will help a lot, right?
Yeah, I will say my number one convert, I hope he's listening here. I want David Kirsch to eventually become a convert to this. I don't know if he ever will, but man, that'd be like we just won him over. So, but maybe if I start.
Kirsch is a good golfer.
He is a good golfer, but
he
maybe
probably doesn't want to get any better.
He doesn't want to get but what happens if all of a sudden I just keep dreaming someday, because I don't chase equipment, but I always wonder what happened if I did. Because what happens if suddenly like I shoot under 80 now because I've got golf clubs that actually work for the way my body works and everything else. I think it'd be so much fun.
I think it could happen.
I think it could happen. Oh my goodness.
It would happen.
It's going to happen. We're going to
it's going to happen. There we go. All right. So, we'll get out of the way and let you guys listen to this. Tom Bailey with Avoda Golf. Quick thanks to our friends at Summit, B-Draddy, Zero Restriction, all the great brands. Use BestBall 20 at checkout and get 20% off your order. They make incredible stuff. Jonathan, we've got stuff we can wear summertime, wintertime. Yeah. They make it, and it looks so good. And big fans of them. Many thanks to our friend Dan Drellinger, Billy Draddy, and that team. Also want to thank Western Birch custom golf tees. We talk about them all the time. westernbirch.com. And if you use Best Ball in the checkout or in the shipping cart, you can get a free gift with your order. But let's get to the interview. Tom Bailey, Avoda Golf. Y'all enjoy and check out Avoda Golf. You're probably going to want to buy some stuff. Have a good one. All right, today's guest on the Whole Story Podcast, Mr. Tom Bailey, the founder of Avoda Golf. Tom, welcome.
Appreciate having me on.
Absolutely. Well, we were just talking about you live in Pittsburgh, but you're not from there. And I guess as we jump into this thing, we want to obviously jump into everything you're doing with Avoda Golf. I will preface it, and like we said, off air, Jonathan is a huge fan, and he'll tell you why here in a little bit. But before we get into the specifics of the business and everything like that, we want to hear your own personal story in golf. So when did that start for you?
For me, I started golfing when I was about 13. I'm 29 now. So for me, it was just a obsession straight away with the game. I get a little bit kind of obsessed with being as good as I can at things I take on. So like if I'm going to do something, I want to get really good at it. So as soon as I picked it up, it was like practice every day after school. Hey, take me to the golf course, weekends. Typical story for a young golfer getting into it. And then for me, it's just a constant pursuit of how good could I get. And that, let's just say that led me down a bunch of rabbit holes, some better than others, and some have worked out quite well.
Yeah, well, what you're doing now is working out pretty good. Jonathan, do you want to kind of lay the groundwork of at least how Avoda came on your radar?
Well, obviously Instagram and my death scrolling, but I'm not very good at golf. I didn't start playing golf till I was about your age, right? And now I'm not your age. I'll be 46 here in a couple of weeks. And I've struggled. I took my first lesson at the beginning of the year, never even knew how to hit a golf ball. I could hit a long way sometimes, but I just began thinking through like all the different setups, and I can't hit a driver, and why can't it be the same? And so, you hear rumors of single length golf clubs, and I was like, well, why? This makes sense to me. So I created what I call my Dolly Parton. I took a 9-iron. I was like, I hit a 9-iron safe every single time, almost every single time. So why don't I just get a 9-iron length and a 5-iron club and stick them together? And I found someone that could do it for me for about $50. I'm like, this is perfect. Had the shafts that I prefer to use and everything else. And I'm like dialed in. You talk about like obsessive. I went out, I'm in a track, man. I'm like trying to turn this into some type of experiment of some kind. And it almost worked. But once I started seeing your stuff, I kept sending your stuff to Robbie going, we've got to get together with these people. I'm so fascinated because there's math involved. There's clearly weight involved because I haven't been able to figure that part out. And then, but you've taken this into a thing that everybody I mention this to, of course, the regular golfers are like, well, if that were true, then everyone would do it. I'm like, well, that's dumb because golf does all sorts of dumb things that would make sense, but not everyone's willing to do it. And so, yeah, you guys have sort of forged that way into something that whenever I began looking into it, historically is not that odd, right?
Yep.
So talk about like where you came up with the idea or where you found the idea, because you didn't invent this.
Nope.
And then for all the purists out there that think every club has to be whatever different and everything else, why is it that this is an idea that actually does work for some people, at least maybe?
For sure. Well, let's dive into kind of how I ended up in this position in the first place, and then we can talk on the tech side and get super into the nerdy stuff, which you're smiling away for. So we will do that.
So excited.
So for me, again, as I said, just a pursuit to try and get as good at golf as possible. I left college in 2017, went full-time pro, got injured very quickly, went to pretty much everyone I could get hold of at the top level to, hey, help me out. Like, I want to play golf and I'm hurt. And the advice was always like, okay, while you're in this phase of injury, we're going to only play 9 holes a couple of times a week. You can only hit 50 balls every couple of days. And I'm thinking, man, at this rate, it's going to take me a month to complete a 72-hole tournament. Like, this is not the answer. This can't be the answer. So I started looking at people who were moving in ways that I weren't and trying to figure out what they were doing. That led me to, I'm sure you're familiar with the name George Gankus. Mm-hmm. GG Swing Tips back in the day was the handle. Yeah. So I looked at his players and I thought, man, his players don't do what I do and they move well. So I'll reach out to him. So I got in touch with him, I believe it was late 2017. And literally I was in the UK, booked a trip, head out to California. Let's spend a couple of days with him. And yeah, within, half a day, I'm like 5 buckets in going, man, I'm not feeling any pain yet. So he's onto something. We did a bunch of setup work and then we started doing some body movements and spent a couple of years working on things with him. But there would always be some things I would struggle with from a movement point of view. I'd still see during the swing problems coming back. And I'm thinking, man, there's what is causing this? Because I know I'm doing all the right drills, right? We all practice, we all have our set of drills. We've watched every YouTube video, we've seen every coach, we've done every training aid. Why isn't this changing when other guys can change quick? So then I started diving into just overall kind of cause and effect, biomechanics, movements in the swing. That led me down a coaching path because I was didn't have my injuries anymore. And everyone who does have injuries is going, how did you fix it?
Yeah.
So I then landed myself in a full-time coaching business by accident. Really enjoyed it, helped a lot of players, but just the obsession to get myself as good as possible took over, and I made the decision to pursue playing again. And then thinking still, like, okay, why are some people so much better at changing swing than others? Some people get it a couple of weeks, some people a couple of years, nothing changes. And when I really started diving into what the golf club does to, at first, just your setup position. Okay, well, look, if I have a different length golf club every time, I'm going to have to set up differently every time. That's going to require a different swing.
Right.
So then I'm thinking, well, I've heard of these same length golf clubs, same as you. And at the time I was, in the UK, and I reached out through my putting coach at the time, Jamie Donaldson. He was connected with Cobra. We set up a session. I went through a fit, got into a same length set of clubs. And I'm like, okay, now I only have to practice one golf swing. This is good. And I was a fast player, so for me, the 4-iron was optimal because I was really fast when I was playing. And then I'm thinking, right, I'm obsessed with this same length route. I'm obsessed. I'm down the rabbit hole already. How much further can I go? So I figured who better to reach out to than Mike Shy, who is Bryson's coach from a junior that built the clubs for him, got him that way, and, a team effort. But yeah, Mike's been there for that whole journey. So I figured if I was going to speak to anyone about it, it's going to be him. So we were speaking for about a year during kind of COVID, and I couldn't travel from the UK. The moment the restrictions ended, for us, that was like early 2022. Jumped on a flight, went out to see him for 1 month, and I don't even know how many years later it is, but I'm still here. But 1 month, and we were going to dive down the rabbit hole, the same length, build me a set of golf clubs. And then that's where the journey of golf clubs really begun. Like, he has created the ultimate academy. It's a free-for-all. If you can't get better there, you aren't getting better anywhere. Like, from robots to open workshops to every training aid to just you name it, he has it. And he has a supervised practice method instead of like hour by hour coaching. He's got his few guys that are there, and they just go around, supervise everyone. So it's a great model. You can turn up, practice for 5 or 6 hours, get a bit of help here and there while you're doing it. That really, really let me dive down some dangerous rabbit holes. And for me, it was like, right, how can I optimize same length as much as possible? I'm 5'9", and I've got over a 6-foot arm span. So that puts me on the shorter side, even though I'm not that short on club length. And for me, the one struggle I did have, as much as I was really consistent with them, was the wedges always felt long. So I wanted to experiment going shorter. So Mike says, well, let's just cut everything down.
Right.
We cut my set down to 36 inches, and I flushed everything. I didn't miss a shot. Problem was, 4-iron, 5-iron weren't getting in the air now. They weren't going high enough. They didn't have enough spin. So I'm saying to him, like, look, I love the length of my scoring clubs. They feel great, but I can't get my 4 and 5-iron in the air. And he goes, well, you got to go longer at some point. Why don't you just do it for your 5-iron and your 4-iron? So I was like, all right. So I did that. And I started thinking, hold on a minute, why don't I fit the length for each of the clubs that makes the most optimal? So it became less about like same length, variable length, combo length. And we created the label combo length, but it's just a length and a head weight that makes you hit a ball a certain way. So what I found out was if I did my scoring clubs, lob wedge to 8-iron at that 36 inches, and then I went progressively longer from there, that it gave me every window I wanted to hit. Still had the advantages of same length, where it really matters, which is your approach shots, 150 and in. But then for the longer approach shots, I still had good height, good distance, good gapping, and it sat in really well. So I figured, right, this is it. And then surely enough, obviously it's Mike's Academy's got a lot of people who like same length and like Bryson's style of golf. However, same sort of thing. Hey, like I feel a little bit long with the wedges and I can't quite get my 4-iron in the air. So then we were like, okay, well, we can fix this for you. So we go into the bench grind, we start shaving weight off their clubs and changing the lengths, and it just looks like a science experiment. All of these brand new shiny chrome golf clubs build in rust where we've grinded them away. And I started to feel bad about that. And I'm like, I can't keep, as much as people are loving it, I'm like, it's an expensive set of golf clubs and I'm butchering it on a bench grind right now. So Mike says, well, let's just start making our own. So we got a bunch of raw forgings and we would just hand make golf clubs from scratch with some raw forgings, get the shape someone wanted, get the head weight that they needed for their lengths of sets. But that 36 inches for the scoring clubs and then progressively longer from there was just working for absolutely everyone. Keeps the same length concept and makes it work for the players who couldn't get the launch and the spin. We got so busy doing that, I caught up with my brother. I hadn't spoken to him in a few years. He's from his background's in the firearms industry and manufacturing and marketing and e-commerce in the firearms industry. He says to me, why don't we just manufacture our own golf clubs at this point? Like, you can't be standing on a bench grind 10 hours a day, 6 days a week for long. And I'm like, no, I know. I've done it for a couple of months and this ain't my future. So we were set about doing our own clubs. And right around the time we were finishing that off, I'd got to know Bryson over a few-year period because he was out at Mike's academy. And I hadn't told him I was making my own golf clubs at that point. I hadn't really told anyone. I'd barely told Mike. When I told Mike, hey, we've got a prototype set coming. If they're good, this could be fun. And he hit them and he goes, these things are awesome. We're making clubs for Bryson. And I'm like, hold up a minute. So then he pitches it. And sure enough, Bryson hadn't got anything in the works. He wasn't happy with where his clubs were at. He got his woods where he wanted them, but his irons, it just revealed even more problems in his irons when his woods were right. And he said, yeah, give it a go. So we did. So that was around September, October 23. We started on that. We did and this is where the whole curve face thing then comes in. So he's got curvature on his woods more than anyone else, and it makes it go straighter. So Mike's gone, well, why don't we just put that on an iron as well? Yeah. I'm like, all right, well, heck, I'll have a go. So sure enough, we had 2 heads CNC'd, identical heads, one flat, one curved, both 7 irons, built them up exactly the same. Gave them to Bryson and said, right, hit them. Let's see if this is actually a thing. And within a couple of dozen shots with each, it was like, okay, this is night and day. Side spin numbers stayed the same regardless of where he hit it on the face. And he's just like, I'm not playing golf without this. Make me a full set. So we're like, all right, well, we'll work on that. Did a prototype set. He got that in February 24. Pretty close, wasn't quite game ready. And then we worked on another one, and middle of March 24, we had that set that he's now still playing to this day. Same set. And then he goes and puts it in play in the Masters. 65 opening round. Avoda is on the map. So that's kind of that's how it all built up. But then from there, like, a whole other story the last couple of years with how the business is going. But that's how it all came about. It was one big accident. We're just curious enough to go down rabbit holes that the industry doesn't want to go down, to find how much better and how much easier we can make golf. Mainly, that's all it all is. How much easier can we make golf? People who don't have time to practice,
right?
How efficient can we make those practice sessions?
Well, because that was the thing for me, because I get it. Like, there are pros who are going to go out and hit 600 to 1,000 shots a day.
Yeah.
And I probably have the time to do it, but I don't have the discipline. And I really just kind of want to go out and enjoy golf. And so I've played with my Dolly Parton a couple times. That's what I call it, my 9 to 5, because I shaved it down to my 9 iron length, and it's a 9 to 5. If you want help with marketing, we'll come up with names for every other club length as well.
I think they've got marketing down.
Yeah, no, they got Bryson shaved. They need like a shift work where you like 12 to 12. Anyway, we were talking about this with my family this morning.
We'll do a limited release. We'll call them the Johnny Pollies.
There you go.
For me, it was one of the fascinating things of there's so many things that get dismissed because they aren't what everyone is doing. But if you go out on the range and watch what everyone is doing, we're all just on some level of frustration, right? Mm-hmm. Some days it's a positive frustration. Some days it's positive. Other days it's not. We're always trying to figure something out. And so for me, I was just looking at it from the simplest point possible. I've had like 4 golf lessons. I feel like I'm much better. I figured out I needed stiff shafts. Who knew? Other people knew, but I didn't. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, wait a minute. This one club seems to work. I cut mine down to a 36 inch. I went inside. I'm like, this is what I want. But the weighting of it was, I almost bought lead tape because I was like, I need more weight at the end, and I don't know the math behind it.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, you talked about Bryson, and Jonathan's talking about, the opposite side of that, like where we are
Right.
as amateur golfers. And the reason I tell Jonathan you don't need help with your marketing, on your website, Jonathan and I are longtime sales guys.
Yeah.
And we did Sandler sales training. One of the things that they talked about was the negative reverse selling, like basically telling somebody you don't want this. I love on your website, it says only if you want to get better.
Right.
Right. What a great sales point. That, check this out. And I love the fact that it marries up with your own personal story of, I got to figure out how to get better myself.
Yeah.
And so now you've put that into a business, into a club that if people want to get better, they should check this out.
Yeah.
And so I think, Jonathan, they're good on the sales pitch. They've got it down. So
much
I appreciate that. That's one of Mike's. So we were like, who are we as a company? What's our slogan? What do we stand for? And I called Mike. I said, hey, Mike, we need to figure out our slogan. And he goes, only if you want to get better. And the background of that is he has a sign in his academy. He has 3 signs. One is, you can't fix stupid. That's one of his signs. And these are wooden signs in his academy. One is, you can't fix stupid. The other one is 100%. And then the other one is, only if you want to get better. And he uses that as the answer to everything. Should I be doing this drill? Only if you want to get better. Should I buy these golf clubs? Only if you want to get better. Should I take another lesson? Only if you want to get better. It's just the same thing every time. And the more you think about it, it's like his background on that one is he got fed up with telling students, here's what I need you to do. And then a week later, they're not doing it. And they go, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be practicing. And he's like, you want to get better.
Yeah,
that's where it came in, and it works great because that's the core of everything. We're trying to get better. Like our team at Avoda is, you combine our handicaps together. We're a plus 10, plus 20 handicap team. Like I'm played a few years pro, got a couple of other guys on the team that have played pro. We are golfers who just want to get better. It's a lifestyle for us, and that's one of our core values is lifestyle. Like we service the golfers who this is their lifestyle. They live and they breathe golf. And as much as we don't want it to be crossing over into the rest of our lives and we get told we're supposed to separate, you play a good round of golf, you go home happy. You have a bad practice session, you don't go home. Right? So it's just like, that's the whole thing. We're there for the golfers who this is their lifestyle. They want to get better. They want to go places the industry isn't going. We're there to help them out. And we are, we're bringing equipment. One of our core focuses and our core principles is that we don't make something that someone else is already making. If someone else is already making it and they're doing it well, I'll go buy that golf club and I'll use that golf club. I won't waste my time making it because I want to get really good at golf. So if someone else is doing it well, perfect. I'm going to use their clubs. If someone else is doing it and I think it could be better, I'm going to try and make it better. And if it is, we're going to sell it. There's no forced product cycles. It is, this is ready. This is going to make you better. It's in our bags already. We got better. Now it's available to you. And if it didn't need to exist because it was crap, we won't sell it. So we're literally there to fill in the gaps in the industry that people aren't going, and that's the core of what we do here.
Because what am I now? 17 handicap? I think I'm a 17 handicap. So
like that.
How does a single length assist me? Let's say I get out and play once a week, maybe. I'm going to practice maybe twice a month, 3 times a month, something like that. And I'm in the golf industry. I should probably be doing this more, but I just don't. Because there's other life that happens, right? Like there's other things that occur. How does the single length assist me with the limited amount of time that I've got, right? I've got 45 minutes to go out to a driving range. I'm going to squeeze in 9 holes, maybe twice a week. How does that make me a better golfer? And then, like you mentioned, at the end of the day, I want to feel good about what just happened for an hour and a half.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll give you a longer answer to that one. This is the true answer to it. So you have 6 things that go into being good at golf, like around the ball striking point of view.
Write this down.
You have to strike the golf ball. If you miss the golf ball, it still counts as a shot. So you have to make contact with the golf ball. That is primary. The hierarchy, that sits at the top of everything. You have to make contact with the ball. You'll do anything you can, no matter how stupid it looks, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how much it goes against the drill you've been given or the coach that's given you advice. Subconsciously, you will do some jacked up stuff to make contact with the golf ball. That is number 1. Once you've made contact, we need to worry about where it's going now. So then you have face control, and you have path control. You will do some weird stuff to find strike if you have to make compensations for your equipment. That will throw off these other two. You get to choose one of those two. If you've had to do some weird stuff to find strike, you now need to pick, do I want to be good with face or do I want to be good with path? You get the face square, the path's way offline, you get a huge curve. You get the path square and the face is offline, now you get a huge curve with a bad start line. So which one do you want to pick? And that becomes every single golfer's practice session. It's finding a feel. It's like, oh, I got the face square and the path good, but I chunked it 10 yards. I finally struck it good and it's OB. Like we've got to find a way to balance those three. Anytime you have a compensation to make in your swing that goes against the way you're built to move, and that could be caused by a drill that doesn't match how you're built to move. Primarily, it's caused by golf clubs that do not match how you're built to swing. All right, they might match how you are swinging at that point, but they might not match how you are built to swing. And most of the time, that is what we find. So you have to get the clubs matching how you're built to swing. If you don't have compensations to make, strike's a lot easier to find. If you don't have to adjust your swing by a whole foot or completely redirect the swing in the downswing, strike's a lot easier. Then face and path are a lot easier as well because you're not compensating like crazy. So those are the first three things, strike, face, and path. Once you've got those good, then you can worry about distance control, which is launch, spin, and ball speed. Everyone is told in a practice session, go practice your wedges, go practice your distance control. You've got to have good distance control. If your strike, face, and path are all over the place on every other swing, how are you going to control launch, spin, and ball speed? I don't care how good you are. You have to now be better than the best in the world at controlling your forces to even be anywhere close to as good as them. And you're not going to get close if those are off. So forget distance control, launch, spin, and ball speed and all of that. Let's figure out how to make contact first. So looping that back to why does same length work? For the player who needs to learn how to make contact with the golf ball consistently, and that literally could be all the way down to a scratch golfer, like fine centered contact as often as possible. Then you don't have to worry about face and path as much because there's less work to do. One length club with one line or with one weight is one swing. Get really good with that one swing. Be good with strike, face, and path. Once we've got that down, now we can start asking the question on launch, spin, and ball speed. And that's where stuff like the combo length comes in or changing lengths. If you are a player who's crazy fast, hits it high with a lot of spin, Bryson, you're going to do really, really well with a shorter, heavier, low lofted club because it's going to bring the flight into a more controllable place for you. If you're on the lower end of speed or you hit it low with not much spin, you need a longer, lighter club to get the ball in the air. Like fairway woods work well, not just because they're bigger and therefore more forgiving. They're longer and they're lighter. They go higher with more spin because of that. So that's where, like, 100% of golfers should benefit from same length. That is a fact. I will hold that one to the day I die. Mike will go down fighting with that one. Same length is for 100% of golfers. But the way it was provided, it has to be at a 7-iron length. It's going to be through all your irons. It has to have the big grips and the upright lie angles and all of that, right? The way it was put in front of players ruined the concept of same length because when people tried it for the first time and they couldn't get the 4-iron in the air because they didn't have enough speed or they were shorter and they hated a long wedge, they go, same length's not for me. And that's not true. It has to be the right length for you until the point in your bag where you have to then change the length. No one plays a full same length set. Bryson does not play a full same length set. His woods are longer. So at some point you have to go longer. Why did that have to be after the 4-iron? You know, it could be before that. So that's the combo length. So long answer to your question, but quite simply, it makes golf easier to learn because you only have to learn one thing. Once you're really good at that, now we can start optimizing the rest.
See, and I was pretty close. I was close to taking a driver head and shaving onto a 36-inch iron and trying that because, like, that was always the hard part for me. Robbie, what did I give up a driver for 10 years?
A while, yeah.
A long time because it was such an odd swing. I couldn't figure it out, but I could hit a 7-iron 220, 250 yards when we were younger. So I was like, who cares? Like, I'll hit my 7-iron off the tee, every tee box, and then I don't have to worry about it. I went to not a single length iron. I just went to a single iron for a good length of
You
my
also,
game.
you also broke the head off the rest of them. So
I did break heads off of a number of clubs, and so I just like, I will just use this one instead.
Well,
There's
Tom,
Sorry,
I was
go
gonna
for
say,
it.
yeah, we've talked and interviewed different fitters at different brands and stuff like that, and everybody talks about getting custom fit. Something Jonathan and I have never done. You know, I've got like hand-me-down clubs from a buddy that got something different, and you know, it's new and it's exciting. So you think, all right, well, I'll figure out how to play with these exactly like you're talking about. But I watched the video on your site of you and a friend of yours as you walked him through the fitting process, and you were handing him clubs and kind of readjusting stuff. And I think one of the things that stood out was you were handing him things that you knew would not work for his game. So talk about the fitting process when somebody says, all right, I'm going to give Avoda a shot. Because yes, I only want to get better. What is the fitting process that you would walk or somebody would walk through to get fit for these things?
For sure. And that's a good question. Well timed. That is the second piece of this. So like we can get the club at the right length for us or the right style of set, combo length or same length. It still has to be at the right specs for you. So the fitting piece is the foundation to everything. So that obviously we're making very, very unique, innovative golf clubs that haven't existed before, and we can dive into curve face and all of that as well, but it still has to be fit for you. Like I'd take a club that's the worst innovation out there but correctly fitted over the best that's not correctly fitted. And then this is the piece of it. Our kind of saying on this is that coaching and fitting have been separated into two different things. The industry has separated them. They are not two separate things. If you're going to fit and you don't know why the player moves the way they do, what their optimal way of moving is, where they're trying to get to, the time they actually have to do things. Like if you don't know those things, you can't fit them into the right stuff, or you don't have a system that reveals those things at least. And if you're a coach who isn't paying attention to what the equipment's doing to the player's swing, don't waste time on drills with them. Don't waste hours and hours at the driving range on drills and swing advice that was created because of the clubs in the first place. So we've separated them into two buckets in the industry. They're not. They're the same thing. So what we really want, like one of our missions at Avoda, is to just bring back what it means to be a golf professional. You know, 30, 40 years ago, golf professional was where you went for everything. It was lessons, it was coaching, it was course management, it was the whole game. It was a beer, it was everything, right? We need to bring that back because they are the same thing. So what we're doing from a fitting point of view is enabling kind of coaches and fitters to understand both sides of doing the job, but also creating a different experience for the player. Because fitting now, in our opinion, has become way too tech-driven and way too confusing for the player that just wants a better set of golf clubs and they don't care about all of the other stuff. But part of having a better set of golf clubs is trusting that they're right for you. So we wanted to create a system that gives the player an experience of how bad things can be when the golf club's not right for them, and then how good things are when the golf club is right for them. Most fittings, you're going to get given 3 or 4 clubs or components and told, here's the best shafts for you, or here's the best heads for you. Let's hit each one of these and find out which one's the best of the best. And it makes sense from a time point of view, but if you made the wrong decision as a fitter when you did that, you might have given them 3 things with the worst options. Now they're picking the best of the worst options. So what we like to do is show a player the whole spectrum, how, like completely on one side, completely on the other. Which one were they more biased to? Okay, well, we'll remove that other side now and start dialing in from there. And if you remove everything that doesn't work and you're only left with one thing, how can you argue that that's not the right thing for you? So that's what we do our whole system around. And the player gets to understand it. The good player is literally feeling moves in their swing changing in order to make contact because we've changed the club. And they're going, that's what I've been trying to do like the last 10 years. I can do it now. I can feel I can do it. And the player who doesn't have that awareness is going, man, I just hit the golf ball 10 times in a row for the first time. Like it's for everyone, regardless of the level. And we've run that process with, we're working with a PGA Tour guy right now, one of the top 30 players of all time. He went through the exact same process as the 20 handicap we worked with the week before. He's still a golfer that needs to make contact with the golf ball. It doesn't really change. So that's kind of the foundations of where we built it. But if you've watched through it, you see there's kind of a specific order to every single fit we do as well.
That's amazing.
No, it was fascinating, and I'm kind of curious, man, what that process was like. And Jonathan, we talk about, we're no Bryson level. We're not the worst golfers in the world. Jonathan, you say you're what, 16, 17? I'm like a 7, 8, somewhere in that range, trying to get better. And we've done this series called Course Corrections this year, kind of a little side series where, we've done the stack system to try to, because we're getting older and we're like, we're losing swing speed, so we're trying to get that back. We're trying to work with Arcos on our stats of like where we need to practice a little more. And at some point, the custom fitting piece has to come in, because you can, again, like you have said very well, like you can do all these things, but if your equipment's not matching up with your actual swing, then you're only going to get better to a limit, correct?
100%. It's the fit piece of it is the foundation to everything. There's this idea that, I'm new to golf, I'll wait till I'm better to get fit. Well, the golf club is the number one training aid on the planet. There is no drill, there is no lessons, there is no amount of practice, drills, coaching that will outcompete what a golf club will do to your golf swing. Like I said, you have to make contact with the ball. If I give you a club that is terrible for you, completely wrong for you, and you figure out how to make contact with the ball, you have to make a terrible swing to hit a good shot. So if you give a player who's very new to the game a golf club that's not right for them, they're building everything they know about golf around a golf club that isn't right for them. Their golf swing is now opposite to how they're built to move. Their appreciation for the game is, damn, this is way more difficult than I thought it would be. But if you get the club built to match that player from the beginning of everything, they now have the training aid that teaches them how to swing good, to hit good shots. So it is even more important for the brand new beginner golfer than it is for the Tour Pro. But for the Tour Pro, they are the best in the world at compensating for shit that's not right for them. They are the best in the world at doing it. You give them anything, they'll figure out a way to hit it. They're such good athletes that subconsciously they'll make anything work. But they'll get hurt and they'll have high stress. And the players who are closest to the right equipment have the least stress and they stay out there the longest. And you saw it with Bryson. He was fighting stuff so much for years. And the moment we made his whole bag work together, he didn't fight anything in his bag. And we can dive into that a little bit as well. But when he didn't have to fight any club, he could make the same swing the whole way through the bag. Now your focus isn't on what golf swing have I got to make here? What drill am I supposed to do when I'm warming up to make sure I can still play golf today? His focus is on how do I go and win this golf tournament? And he did pretty good at doing that.
he is pretty good at doing that.
There's so many times I wish I could get in some sort of time warp of something to go back and start over. Because you're explaining, Robbie, we've only played golf together. That's the reason I started playing golf. I used to put the ball, like a foot in front of my lead foot, just because I didn't know. It was just the way I could get a ball to go straight. And then finally I've gotten to a stiffer shaft. I lost 20 yards either direction in a spray just because of that. And there's times now, I still don't have any idea what I'm doing, but I'm better than what I was because I'm in a little bit better equipment.
Sure.
Yeah.
And look, at any point you can do it. Like, there's no time like the present to go and make sure you're in the right golf clubs. Don't waste another practice session in the wrong stuff. Our challenge there was then, we have an awesome experience. The precision fitting system is awesome. We've got, I think 50 or something coaches out there across the US and a dozen or so in the UK. And, we've got them over in Japan as well. They're awesome experience, but not everyone can get to someone. We're not big enough where you can go to your local golf club and they're right there for you. So we wanted to make sure that anyone buying our stuff can actually get in the right stuff from thousands and thousands of fits. And from our background being in biomechanics and coaching, we can ask 4 questions and have a swing video and you'll get the same specs as you would have if you went to that in-person session. You have to trust us they're right because you haven't got the experience of going through and going, wow, okay, this is the right club for me. But it will be the same as it is in that in-person fitting. And the player we're working with recently, same thing. We went through the fit and I pulled up our charts that we use for our online fit. I said, how tall are you? Okay. What's your swing type? What's your tempo? What's the club head speed or rough carry distance? Okay, this is your specs. And he's looking at it going, that's what I just fit into. I'm like, it's the same. And his coach can believe it as well. So I read out what his specs were and he's like, man, that's exactly what I'm playing. So it works. It works, and someone can literally go on, put a video in, answer a couple of questions, and within a day or so, they'll have a response back with literally the exact specs. And our guys give them a good description of why it is, like as it relates to their swing. It's effectively a free golf lesson at the same time. But we can do all that. But the experience in person is awesome as well. We want to get enough of the systems out there where everyone's within an hour or so of a place that they can go have a real good experience on a fitting.
And you can go on the website and look at all that stuff and figure out, for people that are listening, they can go to the Avoda site and find somebody close to them or do the online thing like you're talking about. Yeah, I agree. Like if you could do something in person, because like you said, once you feel that swing that's supposed to work with the right equipment, like I think the feeling is going to sell itself, right?
100%. And like from that point, the number one component in a fitting is lie angle above anything else. Like you have to get that right. And the reason is we think about lie angle as toe up, toe down. We got to get it coming through flush. That's right. You got to get it coming through flush with every club. But it's not just that. If I give you 4 degrees upright and I give you 4 degrees flat and I have you hit on a lie board and you hit, 3 shots with each one, do you think it will say there's an 8-degree difference? It doesn't. Says there's like a 2-degree difference. And for the best players out there, they can pretty much present them both flush to the ground. They are so good at figuring out how to present the club flush that they'll both read pretty good. So lie boards lie a lot of the time. If you're using them as one club, let's find out what someone's lie angle needs to be. If they're a good player, they'll figure out anything you give them. So you have to hit everything. When you get them both flush to the ground, you've made 2 different golf swings to do that. 2 completely different golf swings. One of them is going to be better than the other. And that's the piece where the coaching piece comes in. How's that player built to move? What direction are they heading in? And what components can we put together that lets them move in that direction? So where the club is a training aid for them. So in our fitting system, we do a lie angle test where we let them hit upright, we let them hit flat, we let them hit in the middle. Which one was easier? The good player will go, man, I can feel where I'm actually meant to swing from now. And the player who's not so good will go, man, I can finally make contact with the golf ball. So it doesn't matter what their feedback level is, their skill level is, they will notice golf just got easier for me. And that's like finding your swing, matching your swing type. The problem of not having that lie angle in the right place is if you aren't able to get it back flush, it's not just as simple as, it's toe down, it's pointing more to the right, or it's heel down, it's pointing more to the left. Every loft is different on the golf club. So if I go toe down on 0 degrees aloft, and I usually have a tee to do this with, but you can kind of imagine if I go toe down on 0 degrees aloft, it stays pointing straight. If I go toe down on 90 degrees aloft, look how much that's moving. Mm-hmm. So if all your clubs are a couple of degrees flat than what you need, or a couple of degrees more upright than what you need, you now have 13 different golf swings to hit the same one ball flight. Golf's hard enough. It's hard enough to learn one swing. You now have to go and learn 13 different golf swings if you want to present them well. That's really, really difficult.
I don't even know what lie angle is. This is
right? Literally just the angle of your golf club. So like that's the fun piece about it. We show someone, we'll put the club, we'll go, here's a 2 upright, here's a standard, here's a 2 flat, and they're looking at it going, this looks like the same chunk of metal.
It's all the same to me. I have no idea what you're talking about.
100%. And that's the point. Like a golf club is a chunk of metal. No matter how much marketing says it, it's a chunk of metal. There is only so much you can do with it. Lie angle is the most important thing that you can do with it. Forget curved face. If your lie angles aren't right, I mean, curved face is going to help you at least go straighter, but you're already offline at that point.
So let's talk about curved face, because
I want to get into that and hear more about
when you say curved face, I'm like concave, convex. If it's a bubble, how in the world is a curved face? How is it curved? Let's start with that. And then how is that supposed to somehow catch the ball in a way that makes it do things it's supposed to do?
For sure. So it's existed on your woods for a long, long time.
It's
not new there. You've heard of bulge and roll, right? So vertical curvature, horizontal curvature. It's there, and it's to make the ball go straighter. The lowest lofted clubs that move the fastest, when you don't hit the middle, their faces will twist the most. So you're familiar with, if you don't hit the middle, the club's going to twist.
Okay.
Right? And then people are like, okay, well, how to make it go straighter? We put curvature on them. Well, the faster you are, the more curvature you then need on your woods. So when Bryson's like, hey, I'm swinging it the best I've ever swung the golf club, and I've missed maybe an 1/8 off the middle, and my side spin's just gone up 400. and I've seen him hit an inch off the middle and had 2,000 side spin on a face to path that was like a degree. It's outrageous. So he increased the curvature. Krang provided him with woods that have more face curvature. They've known this for a while in the long drive world. The question is, does it work on an iron? And the answer is yes. People will say, oh, the irons don't gear like a driver. They don't twist like a driver. And as much as they don't, it still does. And the faster you are, the more it's going to happen. So it's as simple as what it does on woods. If you hit off center, it's going to create gearing. If I hit the toe off center, it's going to want to hook more. If I hit the heel off center, it's going to want to cut more. And the flatter the face becomes, the more exaggerated that side spin is going to become, and the straighter it will start. So if I have a ball that starts straight with loads of side spin, it's now going to go way offline. The more I curve it, not only is it reducing the side spin, but it's also starting it more offline. So it then curves back online. Now, we're not talking enough to where you're set up and it will literally start in the trees and come back to the fairway. We're talking it's a couple of degrees of change. Curvature on drivers is more than we have on our irons, and you don't see any crazy start line issues because of it there. So when we put it on the irons, it just means that regardless of where you hit it on the face, that side spin is going to stay pretty damn consistent. So if you're a draw player and you hit off the toe on one and it starts to overgo, we don't mind that shot because at least it missed left. But if you're a draw player who hits the heel, who's aimed out right a little bit, and now it holds its line or falls off a little bit right, that's pretty scary. But with the curvature, that just doesn't happen. And then obviously the opposite's true for the fade guys. So it's only if you want to hit it straighter, basically.
I'm attached to my slice. I've had it for 15 years now. I'm not sure if I want to do that.
Well, I guarantee you there's a lying thing causing that one.
There you go.
100%. Without a doubt. Like, it'd be fun to get together and we'll go through the in-person stuff and show you what it can do. But
yeah, we definitely need to get together and get Jonathan. You make lefties, right?
Yeah, we got some lefties.
All right. I'm in.
He's all in. He's all in. So, what's next? How do you continue to perfect what you're doing now?
So from my point of view, it's continuing to try and get better at golf. I'm going to find things that make it better. We've got some really good stuff in the wedge area already. Working on some more stuff. Again, for us, it's not forced product releases. It's going to be when we have something that's noticeably different. When I say noticeably different, I mean you do not need to go on a launch monitor and look at data to see that you just became a better golfer. Like the products that we have already and the products that we're going to continue to make are the ones that you can take on the golf course, hit a golf shot and go, that's different. You don't have to go into a sim and prove to yourself there's 50 RPM difference in spin and go and use it. It is night and day difference. So for us, it's continue to innovate. Dive down holes, ask the question, right, this is what's out there. Can we make it better? If we can make it better, we're going to go ahead and try and make it better. From a growth point of view of the business, just get more accessible. A lot of people know we exist. We're grateful for the exposure that Bryson brought and how quickly it all happened. A lot of people know we exist, but we are in a kind of a try before you buy industry now. And as much as our online fitting system's awesome and everyone should be at least going through that at the bare minimum, people want to hit stuff and that's cool. So we got to get accessible. So we're trying to find golf coaches, golf academies, fitters who do both, like who understand that we've got to offer the full service. Guys like Mike, who built player performance academies. Those are the places that we want to be involved with. And it's just expand the network, get more accessible, and just share what we're doing. Like, it is different, but it is that only if you want to get better. Like, come this way if you want to get better at golf, because we'll do it. Our track record from the beginning is taken one of the best players of all time from a position of struggling but moving really well to now allowing him to keep that swing through the whole bag and be at the peak of the game. So it was a good proof of concept from the beginning.
Yeah. Tell me about the name Avoda. Where'd that come from?
Sure. So when I started making golf clubs, it was just golf club. Like when we were doing blank clubs, it was just a golf club. In fact, even when we started doing our own manufacturing and doing our own like actual product of irons instead of hand making everything, it was just still golf club. There was no name. And when it looked pretty clear that we were going to be doing stuff with Bryson and making him some clubs, I figured like, hey, we need to actually put a name on this. Because my plan originally was to sell 50 sets of golf clubs to help fund my own golf game. There's my money to go and play a year of tournament golf. And I haven't actually played any golf since.
You get in the golf business, you're
out of golf.
You don't have time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out. But yeah, so we needed to name the company. My wife was trying to start a girls' clothing company, female golf clothing company. She was not very happy with what was out there. She was trying to take some inspiration from what I was doing with golf equipment and going, all right, well, I want this skirt to fit better than it does, so I'm just going to go make my own stuff. Found out very quickly that launching a clothing company is a pretty tough thing with the size of the margins and how much volume you've got to do to make it worth it. So she put a pause on that and focused on helping me with the golf clubs. But she called that, she used a Hebrew word, hayil, which is strong for that. And when we were trying to name the company, we were like, man, what do we want to what's the message? And the guy we're working with to do our design stuff, a good friend of mine, he's always about having messages in the design. It's not just a design that's meaningless. It's, if there's a pattern, it has a message to the pattern. If it's a word, there's a message to the word. So he said, what do you want the message to be? And the idea was precision. Like, we are making precision equipment for the player who has higher standards, demands more, and this is their lifestyle. Like that, we want to help them. So without putting a dart emoji on a golf club, there's not really many ways of putting precision in a logo. So we knew it had to be in a word. We didn't want to write just the English word for precision. So we were trying to think, how else can we present this? And I thought, well, why don't we look up what the Hebrew is? Because my wife, she had her logo for it as some of the Hebrew writing, and it looked awesome. So I thought, well, let's have a look at that. So that is what this word is. That is precision in Hebrew. It's a little bit rebranded from how the word would be written. But yeah, it means precision and accuracy. And I saw that and I thought, it just looks like the logo for a golf club company.
Oh, it does.
So we went with that. And then I'm thinking, how do we now name the company? Because as much as that, like some companies, their name is their logo, right? But that's a tough word to Google. Many people are reading that back off for the golf club and typing it into Google. So we know we needed to name the company. I wanted to stick along the same lines of the Hebrew, and I literally just started going through the alphabet and looking at the translations of the words, and I got to AV and saw Avoda, and I thought, that sounds like the name of a golf club company. Let me have a look what it means. And when I saw what the meaning of the word is, and it's work, worship, and service, I was like, that is it. You know, that is what we do. We service the golf industry. We work for the players. You know, and this is as well for the players who worship the game of golf. So I just figured that is the ultimate kind of name. And I'll be honest with you, quite frankly, without, you know, the name of the company and the meaning behind it, what happened with Bryson doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. You know, we did something that hadn't been done ever in the industry, and we did it in just over 6 months. And then to be on the map as quickly as we are and be doing the volumes we're doing inside of 2 years, this doesn't really happen across any industry, let alone the golf industry. So there's definitely more power behind what's happened at Avoda than, like, obviously we've worked our asses off and we figured some things out, but even then, like, this stuff doesn't happen often. So that's where the meaning came from. It is for the golfers who demand precision, and it is for the golfers who this is their lifestyle. So kind of all goes well together.
That's perfect. I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it. Yeah, it's really cool. So how many folks do you have on the team right now?
We have 15 now. So 15 on the team 2 years in is I'm learning how to run a business now. That's the fun. First year was a scramble. Like it was like, hey, let's grab everyone around us. You get to do this. You get to do this. Like, who wants to jump in and help out? And we had an awesome group, and I value every single person that jumped in at the beginning to help out. Many of them are still involved. As we have a saying, grow or get outgrown. We're moving seriously fast. The opportunities we have are next to none. You know, the players we're exposed to so quickly are so high level. They demand that high level. They're used to that high level. If people can't keep up with how fast we're moving, they're going to get left behind. So we've had, we've had some interesting rides over the last just 2 years. But last year was a scramble. You know, it was myself, my brother, and our very close friend Tommy that we just bashed out everything, did a lot of work. Another good friend of mine was involved as well. He decided to go a different route. And this year it's like, right, now it's not just the 3 or 4 of us. We've now got 15 of us. How do we run a business? So we've been fortunate. We've had some seriously good, some good advice around us, people who just love the game of golf and wanted to step in and offer advice on business. So some pretty big, public figures that are known for building companies and building businesses. We've been fortunate to be in front of them and have their advice. So, and read a book, EOS. That is our business Bible. I don't know if you're familiar with that book, but
yeah,
we got told by my brother's in his past job, a billionaire that he went on a hunting trip with said, "I use this to operate my whole entire company. You guys better use this." And then we're like, "Okay, yeah, cool."
Yeah.
Back to the grind every day, forgot. And then 6 months later, another billionaire goes, "Hey, I've sold $2 billion companies and I use that as the foundation for building them." So we're like, these guys don't know each other either. So we ought to listen.
Right.
We ought to listen to this. So that's what we put in place. But yeah, sorry, long answer to your question of 15 people, but it's been an awesome 2 years, and we're building foundations, and we got some big goals, some big visions, some big names involved now, and I'm excited to see what happens over the next couple of years. But we need a team that can handle it, and that's what we're building out right now.
That's really cool. Well, it's exciting to watch what you've done so far, and again, just to get to meet you in person and have you share the story here, because we'll be able to look back as we have with some of the other people we've interviewed. You've kind of already established yourself, but we'll be able to look back a few years from now and be like, we got to interview Tom back when it was only 15 people, right? And now you're taking over the golf world. So it's an exciting time, and it's an honor for us to get to chat with you. But let's jump back into your golf game as we start to wrap this thing up. We asked this question, and for good golfers like yourself, it might be tough, but what's the story of your most memorable golf shot?
Wow, that's a good one. Most memorable golf shot. I'm one of those players that will play around a golf and completely forget every single shot in it and the score.
That's me.
But
just boring, really good golf. I get it.
I guess my first college tournament win. It was last hole, par 5. I remember hitting some huge, big old 6-iron draw from like 220 into a tuck pin and being like, that was pretty sweet. Made it for Eagle and won the tournament. So that was pretty cool. Didn't know it was for the tournament win, so you get in and look at the scoreboard. But that was up there. That, hopefully there's some even more memorable to come.
I mean, just think how many tournaments you would have won if you'd had some Avoda gear back in the day.
There you go. Well, tell me about it. Yeah, I definitely would have had a few less injuries. That's for sure.
That is true. That is true. Well, Jonathan, you want to jump into our quick 9?
Yeah, I think we like to do just a little quick back and forth. You've probably played in some good ones. What is the favorite course that you've played?
Favorite course? Yeah, I've more recently got to play some pretty cool courses. What's up there? Probably back when I was in college, my roommate was from kind of hill country, Texas, and he would take us out to a place called Boot Ranch. And that place is just golf heaven. That is an unbelievable property, amazing practice facilities, great golf course. That's definitely my most memorable golfing experience, is going out there on the weekends, for sure.
Wow. Very nice. All right. What course is at the top of your bucket list?
Bucket list. I mean, Cyprus is up there, obviously. We'll see when that one happens. I've got Oakmont this Sunday. That'll be a first going out there, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
On Sunday, and then Augusta. I've had a couple of opportunities to go out there and I've turned down. My rule for there is that I'll go there when I've earned my own spot. So maybe it never happens, but I'd prefer to hear it never happened and know that I was waiting for it to be for the right reason than, I've had an opportunity to go with some players and during the week of the Masters, obviously, as well. But yeah, for me, it was like, I'm going to earn my own way there on the golf course. So
I love it.
Well,
that's the goal.
When you earn it, I live in town. So if you need a place to stay,
there you go. Got that sorted.
Come on over. Yep, we got a house. We got a putting green. We got all kinds of stuff. It'd be great.
Have you guys played there already? You played there before?
No,
not yet. We're hoping to earn our media credentials. We won't earn an actual come play in the tournament, but maybe as a media guest one day.
Awesome. How about you guys? What's your favorite courses?
Oh man, we got to play the old course back in April.
Mm-hmm. We played the old course reversed and the old course. Karn, I'm wearing that today. It was part of our trip. We played Karn, 2 rounds there. The old course sits pretty well. I broke 90 for the first time at the old course. I shot an 88. That was my best round ever. But Karn was just like visually dunes and that kind of golf. We had 2 great caddies that went out with us at 7 in the morning on the last day, and just like the whole experience of it. I mean, a lot of golf is the experience of it, right? Not just the course itself. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the old course, I think, just from historical and I don't know, we had perfect weather. It was a great group. So Jonathan and I, we were with two strangers who are now good friends. But yeah, so we got to play it in reverse as well. Jonathan won the ballot for the old course reverse routing, and so we got to play it in reverse. So being able to say that, where not many people have been able to do that, is pretty cool. And it was an awesome experience. So
for sure,
yeah. But the bucket list is a lot bigger than the great courses we've got to play.
What's number one on the bucket list then?
It's, I mean, obviously Augusta, but for part of the same reason, I think we want to earn our way in from a media perspective. Like, we'd love to get that invite, and then obviously there's some sort of draw, but to be able to walk around the grounds doing what we're doing right now, right? Talk to people, hear about their golf stories, figure out why they love the game of golf, and you're surrounded by everyone who is in that pace, and not even just the pros. Like, we'd love to be able to interview pros, but just the people. I mean, to walk around with a microphone and ask every person that came inside, like, what was your most memorable golf shot, or what's your favorite memory of the Augusta National as you're leaving for the first time? Those would be, I mean, just countless. Be a great thing to do.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the Cypress would be awesome. Local, a Hoopy, the Match Club, it's over in Georgia. I'm in South Carolina, and Jonathan's in Georgia, but private club there. But we're talking to somebody recently, and kind of that Northeast golf, right? As much as it was highlighted during the Ryder Cup, all the Long Island stuff, like, there's so many great places up there. And just in the Northeast that I want to go play. So I think that would be a fun trick to knock off a number of the bucket list courses.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at the quality of golf up here in the Northeast. Like, I was in, obviously, California the last 3 years and got to play some pretty cool golf courses over there. But coming up here to Pittsburgh, I'm thinking, man, Pittsburgh golf? I visited last summer before we moved, played 3 rounds, probably 3 of the, top golf courses I've played, just from a conditions and style of golf course. And I'd say it's a sleeper golf city. Yeah. There's a lot of golf courses here, and there's a lot of unbelievable clubs. So that's a pretty good place.
Well, after playing Sand Valley, it makes me want to get out to Bandon even more, right? Like, I mean, the Dream Golf, they do it right everywhere.
Did you play any more? Did you play the short course?
Oh yeah, I played every hole on property.
That week.
Those 3 days, I played a lot of golf. It was amazing.
There you go. I got out on, which one was it I played? The what's the one that's at the same
Sedge Valley.
Sedge, yeah, I went out to play Sedge. I had a good round. I played some good golf out on Sedge, but that short course was special. That was awesome. I had just gotten off the plane late the night before. I think I told you guys. So, woke up early and actually played my best golf on the Commons. I think I shot a 1 over or something like that, which is unlike what I normally do. So every now and then I'll have a flash in the pan, but that place is a lot of fun. For sure. Yeah, that was a pretty cool experience. Big thanks to Golf Chicago for inviting us out to that one, because that was a pretty special. I mean, first out on that track, and
I know
to fit that much enjoyable golf into 12 holes, and it didn't feel too short, didn't feel too long. Like, it was just right out there. It was awesome.
It was perfect. Yep.
Well, you mentioned a couple of courses that were good up in Phil in the Pittsburgh area. What is the best course that no one knows about?
Well, I'm going to be biased because I'm a member out of Neverwood here. That's a pretty special golf course. It's a Jack golf course. I love it. It's you got to be smart off the tee. You can't bomb drivers everywhere. If you do, you better hit them in the 20-yard gap. A lot of short irons, a lot of mid irons. That's awesome. Obviously, everyone knows about Oakmont, but there's a number of golf courses up here. Allegheny, Swickley, Chartiers. There's some seriously good golf courses. you guys come up for a few days, we'll go play some good golf.
Absolutely. We had one guest that said Allegheny was one of his favorites. He had a friend that was from that area and loved Allegheny. My father-in-law is from Uniontown, Pennsylvania, so about 2 hours south there, right near Morgantown, West Virginia. So, yeah, we'll definitely come up for a visit.
That'll be great.
Who's in your dream foursome?
Dream foursome. The player we're working with right now is in it. That's for sure. It's gonna be exciting when we can talk about that one. He's one of the guys that is the real. He's exactly what you'd expect him to be. He's as genuine as it gets. So that's pretty cool. Who else? I mean, you got Tiger's got to be in it. I got some questions to ask that guy. I'm telling you, he knew golf clubs. I don't think he told many people, but he knew it. He could feel it. I think that was something that gave him a massive edge over the other people.
That would have helped him for injuries if he had some Avoda clubs.
Maybe, but I think maybe there's some other things that cause the injury. You just don't go on the ball striking runs and the iron play runs that he went on without your clubs being there to help you. So either he got it by accident, which I doubt, or he knew some stuff that he didn't tell people. I reckon he figured that out. So yeah, those two, and then who else would I put on it? Probably Jack. That'll be a pretty cool group. I mean, most people are going to have Tiger and Jack in that, aren't they?
It's a fairly common one.
Be a good group.
You guys?
All right. What is your walk-up song to the first tee?
Walk-up song? Guess it depends on the mood. I never actually thought about that one. You hear the question getting asked all the time, but I've never actually answered it in my head. Probably some. I'm pretty. If I'm in the get in the zone, it's some pretty heavy metal, for sure.
You and Victor Hovland.
There you go. I mean, he's like he's heavy death metal. I'm heavy okay, we can still listen to this on a car journey. Crash the car. But yeah, I think there's some peace in it. Like I understand where he says that. Like it's so much chaos that you kind of zone out of anything else going on. I kind of understand that one. So yeah, definitely some heavy metal.
Very nice. All right, this one I'm curious to know. What's the favorite club in the bag?
Favorite club in the bag. For me, it is the wedges. We got some special wedges, for sure. Yeah, that's my favorite. I mean, I've always been a long hitter. I was never that straight when I got my iron game figured out because I fit myself correctly for golf clubs. Driver got a lot better, but yeah, for me, it's the wedges. Got a definitely different appreciation for wedge game after spending time with Mike Shy. He drilled in the importance of being good with those scoring clubs, and then matched that up with some pretty cool designs. And I do enjoy some wedge practice. That's my piece. Go to the wedge area, just hit a couple of hours of lob wedges.
Love it. Good golfers always go closer to the hole, for sure. Bad golfers, 7-iron. Good golfers, every single club gets closer to the hole.
There you go. Well, if they're all a 7-iron, thanks.
There you go.
What is your favorite snack on the course?
Protein shake. Just easy.
Nice. All right. Favorite golf course logo?
Probably the one at Neverwood. It's a beer.
Is it?
Yeah. That's awesome.
I like it.
All right. Last one. Finish this sentence. The best part of golf is?
Best part of golf, 18 greens. if you can hit it. Hitting it, going for that 18 green stress-free golf.
Man.
That's awesome.
Very nice. Tom, this has been awesome, man. I feel like Jonathan and I could sit here and ping you with questions all day long, because we want to get better at golf, and talking with people like you who are figuring it out and applying that with what you do is inspiring to us. So many thanks for spending some time with us. Thanks to Tommy as well for helping to coordinate all this. But this has been a lot of fun. Appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on, and look forward to doing more and showing you guys what we do with the clubs.